Welcome to PlayBranson, the show where you get to know Branson's entertainers better. I'm your host, Chris Meyer, and today's episode is brought to you by iBranson.com, where you can find lots of information about Branson shows and attractions. So if you're looking for the latest show schedules, go to iBranson.com. We'll be right back in just a moment with Colton Cooper. Hang tight.
There are so many things to do in Branson. You need help planning and booking all your fun. You need iBranson.com. You can find everything Branson has to offer from your computer, tablet, or cell phone. You can even buy tickets online or talk to one of their friendly Branson travel specialists. There's no sales pitches, no delivery fees, no service fees, and no waiting. It's fast and easy. Find your fun at iBranson.com. Do it all online or call 877-ENTERTAIN. That's 877-368-3782. iBranson.com.
Hey folks, welcome to PlayBranson, and on today's show, for the first time ever, I have Colton Cooper. Yeah. So welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here.
It's awesome to have you here. You're the snazziest dresser I've had on the show in a long time. You're looking good.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
My little Righteous Brothers outfit here from the show.
There we go. So you are a part of actually 3 shows at the Clay Cooper Theater. And your last name is Cooper, Clay Cooper. There is a relationship there. We'll talk about that in a minute. But you're a part of Clay Cooper's Country Music Express, the Hot Rods and High Heels show, and then Dean Z, which I didn't even know about.
Yeah, that was a new one this year for me. Yeah. So, yep.
So one of the Branson's youngest entertainers, doing 3 shows, and we're going to talk about all those in the second segment. But tell us how you got into this business and tell us about that.
Well, I was kind of just born into it. I've been on stage since I was 18 months old. I kind of started out going out on stage. I would play a little fiddle, and it was the old Wiggle. I went out to one of the old Wiggle songs. I was a huge fan of the Wiggles, and that was kind of my theme song coming out on stage. And I'd do some little quick changes, and did some impersonations of the Jackson 5, Elvis, and since then, I've just been getting more and more involved, and here we are now, and next season will be my 20th season on stage, which is kind of funny to say because it doesn't feel like it since I'm only 19 now, but or I guess it'll be my 19th season next year, but just and more involved each year, so it's a blast.
So how did you, so you started out as a year and a half, and then over time, were you literally at the theater every night?
When I was first born, actually, my dad was performing at the Caravel, and he'd be playing the bass on stage, and I'd be sitting in my little car seat, pretty much is what it was over there, and he'd just be staring at me, and I'd be sitting there clapping, and of course, all the band members at that time are still in our show. Most of them are, and so it's cool that for me to have those people as almost a lot of them grandparents to today, and still have them around and in the show. But that's kind of where I got my start. Was just I was always at the theater, and to the point where in all the theaters that we've had, there's been a kids room for me and my brother, and that's kind of where we hung out, and that's honestly more of our home was the theater. We spent a lot of time there. And
now did Clay and your mom say, "Hey, we want you on stage," or did they make you where that's always an interesting dynamic to say.
It's always like a gray area with performers, because you don't, when you're a parent, a performer, you don't want to force your kids to do that, because you want to give them the freedom and let them be a kid. But for me, I always wanted to perform. In high school, I'd be at a football or basketball tournament all day, from 8 a.m. until 3 or 4 in the afternoon. I'd make sure I was home for the show, because I just did not want to miss that. But it's just been a really cool experience to feel, to have my parents be so understanding and be so okay with me taking my own career paths. And actually, whenever I decided that I didn't want to play football after high school because I was really wanting to. I was looking at Drake University, and I had talked to some people at South Dakota State, and had a few different opportunities or places to play, and I decided that I'd rather perform, and that actually crushed my dad's heart a little bit. He was really wanting me to go play, but he's just as thrilled to still have me around, and actually more involved now than I ever was before.
So I know your family they really prioritized you guys as kids, in the fact that like he would make sure he didn't schedule a show the night you might have a game or something like that. And big sports family, and it seems to me like they really tried to give you a normal childhood life.
Yeah. Well, and the biggest thing for them is that they're parents first. And Friday nights, we started doing afternoon shows whenever I got to high school because they did not want to miss a Friday night football game and miss me playing. And they're about to have to start doing the same for my brother. He's doing basketball tournaments now and traveling all the time. And they're leaving after a Friday night show and driving all night to Oklahoma City and Iowa and all these different places to see him play on Saturdays and things like that. So, they really, them more than us, honestly, they just want to be parents, and they're going to change the schedule so that they can be,
You know, a lot of times people in outside of Branson, I always say, they think Branson is just old entertainers. And we have totally misspelled or gotten rid of that myth here, and you're a perfect example of that because you're a young entertainer, and there are lots of young entertainers in Branson.
Yeah, I would say that we don't have many young entertainers that are moving here. These young entertainers today were born here, and their roots are in Branson, which I think is even more special because people like me that are my age and that are performers now, they have a strong tie to this community, and there's nothing that I want to do more than to see this community succeed and grow because I've lived here all my life, and being able to watch it change and be able to change with it has been really cool, and I hope to be able to be a part of the growth and success of Branson in the future.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Folks, we're going to stop right here. We'll be back in just a second with more with Colton Cooper. Hey folks, welcome back to the show. We're on the show today with Colton Cooper, who's over at the Clay Cooper Theater, and you're in lots of shows over there. So let's just talk about the different shows.
Yeah.
You have the Hot Rods and High Heels. So talk about that show first.
Hot Rods and High Heels is a 1950s show, and it's 8 cast members. We have a 5-piece band, and it's just such high energy, and it's just a lot of fun. Even if you don't really know 50s music, it's just the best decade of music. It's all upbeat and just you're jamming out the whole show. Our favorite thing is being able to see audience members standing up and dancing because that's what you want to do naturally when you hear that stuff. And this season we have a very close-knit cast, and you can really see it on stage. And honestly, it's probably my favorite show to perform in.
And so that show, folks, is on most weeks. I say most weeks, not every week, but most weeks, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays at 10 or 2 p.m., depending on the time frame. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the next show, Clay Cooper's Country Music Express. Did I get that right? That name right? Okay. Yep. Talk about that show.
Yeah, that's the show I've been in all my life. In that show, we have 27 entertainers. We have a 6-piece band this year. We just added a new fiddle player. I think we have 12 dancers this year. We have a trio, Third Power. We have our featured singer, Carrie Garrison, our comedian, Matt Gum. and we just added a new featured singer, Alan Asbury, this year.
Really?
Yeah, he was with the Gaithers. He was traveling with the Gaithers, and he's been in a few shows here. But
I did not know that, folks.
Oh
So
yeah, he actually comes out and sings 2 of our featured gospel songs and just crushes it. I mean, people are coming just to see Alan, honestly. But along with that, my mom and dad are in the show, of course. My mom's a dancer, choreographer. She runs the theater, and then also me and my brother in the show too. So
yeah, what are you doing in the show?
So this year, I'm doing a lot of singing, and I'm also in one of the comedy skits, which is a little bit out of my area of expertise, you know. So that's a learning curve for me, but I'm just a lot more involved singing-wise, singing a lot more harmonies in the back, and sing a lot of more solos and.
Well, one of the things I've always appreciated about the Clay Cooper show is it's a lot of action, a lot of excitement. I mean, you don't find 12 dancers hardly on any other show in Branson, and so I think that adds a lot to it. And then, of course, your dad's personality, nobody can match that.
No, and that's one of the coolest things is when we open up that show and we have 27 entertainers on that stage, and when I walk down to the front of the stage, I sit there and I'm like, what beats this? I mean, what beats 27 entertainers on stage performing for all these people? I mean, it's a great feeling to have, and a great feeling to see the show grow. I honestly feel that this has been the best season we've ever put on. The song choices this year have just been incredible. Doing a little Devil Went Down to Georgia, and we even added some rock and roll and our impersonations medley. We're doing some Journey and Pat Benatar, and we have Dwight Yoakam's, Buck Owens, just a bunch of, it's just a variety show. You hear the name country in the show, but you can't let that fool you, because it's a lot more than just that.
Yeah, that's a component, but you do have comedy, and Matt Gumm is an incredible comedian, also musician. I know he does some of his, about once a month he's doing his own show over at Charles
He has about 16 shows this year, and he actually just had his first one, and heard a lot of great things already about that one. He's changed his show completely too. But
now this year you're also in Dean Z's show, and so what are you doing in that show?
So in Dean's, I'm the backup singer. He's got his 3 girls, and then he added 4 quartet guys, the Tupelo sound this year. And at the beginning of the season, I was kind of unsure if I was going to join or not, because I had already told my mom that I was going to be with her. I want to learn the theater so I can someday take over. My dad always calls it, he says he's on a 5-year plan, but it's my mom. She's not on the 5-year plan. So, but I ended up talking to my mom, and she was like, "No, you need to do that." And she was like, "You have a lot of opportunities to travel with Dean." And he actually just got back. He was in England, and he's been to Brazil, and so she was like, "This is a time for you to be able to do that while you're young." So I took the spot, and it's just been a blast. And I've never heard anybody as good as Dean. He's the only Elvis tribute artist that's endorsed by Graceland Properties and Elvis Presley Enterprises, and I think that speaks for itself. You know,
just a great entertainer,
and a even better guy. When he gets off stage, he just makes you feel like you are the world, and you just had the greatest show of your life.
Colton, it's been great having you on the show today. Folks, go check him out in all these different shows. You can catch him at the #1 hits of the 60s, Clay Cooper's Country Music Express, and even Dean Z over there at the Clay Cooper Theater. We'll be back in just a minute to wrap the show up.
There are so many things to do in Branson. You need help planning and booking all your fun. You need iBranson.com. You can find everything Branson has to offer from your computer, tablet, or cell phone. You can even buy tickets online or talk to one of their friendly Branson travel specialists. There's no sales pitches, no delivery fees, no service fees, and no waiting. It's fast and easy. Find your fun at iBranson.com. Do it all online or call 877-ENTERTAIN. That's 877-368-3782. iBranson.com.
Hey folks, welcome back to PlayBranson. We're wrapping up the show today. Thanks for sticking around. Our guest this week was Colton Cooper from the Clay Cooper Theater. Colton, Tell people once again where you're located, how can they find you?
Yeah, so we're right across from the Titanic or the huge meatball or King Kong on up the building. We're over at 3216 West 76 Country Boulevard. You can find us at claycoopertheater.com, claycooper.com, or you can call the box office directly at 417-332-2529.
Okay. And you can find all the show times either on their websites, folks, or you can go to ibranson.com as well. Next week artist is Jerry Presley with the God and Country Theater. And I tell you what, folks, I haven't talked to Jerry on the show for about like 5 years, so I'm anxious to have him back and see what's going on in his world. Be sure to like us on Facebook or Instagram or YouTube. We have all of our social media channels there. PlayBranson. Just Google it. Type it in your search. You can find them all there. You can also find all of our past episodes at playbranson.com. And if there's a performer you'd like to see on our show, send us a message. The best way to do that is probably through Facebook or our website. And we'll do our best to get those people on in the future. Now, if you need help planning your next Branson vacation, go to ibranson.com. You can also call those folks at 877-ENTERTAIN. They can help plan your entire Branson vacation. I'm Chris Meyer, and I'll see you next time on Play Branson.